Hello and welcome to Fortress, Alaska. And today we're going to talk about the Sig P229. Let's take a look at it. This is the Sig P229. The P229 is a double action, single action pistol. There's also what Sig calls a DAK version, which is kind of like double action only. But this one in particular is a double action, single action pistol. Double action meaning you can just pull the trigger and it will fire. Single action, after it cycles the next round in, the hammer's already back. Much lighter and crisper trigger pull. So double action, single action. It was introduced in 1992. It's actually an improvement on the old Sig P228, and this was updated so it could handle more powerful cartridges such as the 40 Smith & Wesson and the 357 Sig. The original design for the 228 had a stamped sheet metal slide with solid steel parts in it to absorb the recoil and be the pressure bearing surfaces. However, that's not strong enough for 40 or 357 Sig, so the 229 has a fully milled steel slide and then an alloy frame. Now, the only difference between the 40 Smith & Wesson and the 357 Sig when it comes to this pistol is the barrel. Every other part is identical. The magazine, as you will note, Sig Sauer, and if we can get it reading there, get it to focus right there, for PP29, 40, and 357. So this magazine works with both ammunitions. The only thing that changes is the barrel. The spring is the same, every other part's the same. So this is the Sig P229. Now this is a used one, which I have purchased. And what I'm going to do is show some video of me shooting it early in the summer with the old Recoil Spring. And we're going to talk about changing springs. And then I'll have another video or more videos at the end dealing with shooting it now they have the new springs in. Okay, so now we switch from the 357 Sig barrel to the 40 Smith & Wesson barrel. The nice thing about using these two calibers. One of the issues you have when you buy a used pistol is you really don't know how many rounds that have been through that handgun. So there's some minor things you should do. The big one is to change the recoil spring. The other springs are not nearly as critical and they don't get as much use. So you want to look at changing the recoil spring. So I have this used P229 which I bought, which I want to use as a carry pistol. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my parts kit here. You can order these online, and I'm sure you can figure out where you order a Sig Sauer parts kits from. But as you can see, I got a P229 parts kit for 40 and 357 Sig. Clearly states that on there. So here it is. And in there we have several items, and we'll show those to you here next. So in the parts kit, you get new grip screws, because grip screws do get buggered up and need to be replaced for looks. Get a couple pins for use on various parts of the gun. Plus these couple small springs. One is for the decocker, and I'm really not sure what the other one's used for. I'll have to investigate that. However, all these I'm not going to use at this point in time, because I may or may not upgrade it to have the E2 grips. So I'm going to hold off on any of this. If I do the E2 grips upgrade, I have to change out the parts to which these springs are attached, most likely. So then I'll change these out. But otherwise, I'm just going to set these aside and save them. The important part is the recoil spring. For those of you who do not realize it, think of a recoil spring as like the oil in your car. It needs to be changed periodically. And since I have no idea how much this pistol has been used, I'm going to change the recoil spring for my safety and the gun's longevity. This is the Sig P229 in question. And as you can see, I've already changed out the grip screws to what I prefer, I think are nicer looking grip screws. They just dress it up a bit. They're only like $14 for the set of 4, so it was not an issue. But you can see it's an old gun, and what I wanted to point out is what you can see just how old this gun really is. That barrel started out blued, and as you can see, all but very little of the bluing is left. It's been well worn. Now I'm going to disassemble this and show you how much more worn that barrel actually is to show how much use this pistol has had. So this is the barrel in question. This is the 40 Smith & Wesson barrel. Mind you, it also came with the 357 Sig barrel that is all stainless, so you can't see the wear is obvious, but you can see this one has been used quite a bit. The person did shoot this a lot. He took good care of it because it is still in the handgun is really good shape. It's just wear and tear on the parts that wear and tear. So I have no complaints about this. This is honest wear and tear in use. So, but it has had a lot of use. So I'm going to change the recoil spring on that. So let's take a look at the old and new recoil spring side by side. Here we have the old recoil spring, which is braided wire, and here is the new recoil spring, which is flat wire. So, and as you can see, the new recoil spring is just a tad bit longer than the old. And that could be because of the type of wire, or it could be the old spring is taking a set. I really don't know, but what I do know is the new recoil spring will not have any wear and tear on it, so it'll be better for the pistol, and I will change out the recoil springs. So typically with the recoil spring, at least for Sig, the side with the paint on it is the side that goes towards the chamber, and the side with no paint is the side that goes towards the muzzle. I don't know if it really makes any difference, but that's how they paint the recoil springs. So, and I think the color dictates the caliber. Like I said, the packaging for this does say 40 Smith & Wesson and 357 Sig. So let's install it and put it back together. What I do here is I just took a post-it note, wrote old on it, and stuck it inside the spring. I will save the spring. I'll just put it in the box the pistol came in. Should I ever sell it, the new owner may want the original spring. I don't know why. It's really probably just garbage now. But I'll save it. It won't take up any space. It'll be in the box that the pistol came in. But what I did do was confirm everything you get in the package here. And what we have here are the deep cocking lever spring, the slide catch spring, the trigger bar spring, slide pins, and the grip screws. Like I said, I'll probably never use the grip screws because I got much nicer ones that I like instead. And also I may change it to the E2 style grips, which have a smaller grip, and I don't have the biggest hand, so plus the smaller grips don't use grip screws. So I now have installed the new recoil spring, and yeah, no, you can't watch me do that here on YouTube because I don't know where they delineate the line between maintenance and modifying a gun, so you just know what I did. I changed the recoil spring, which I think would be routine maintenance. Anyways, I can definitely feel that racking the slide is definitely stiffer now. It was much harder to get that spring into the slide. Definitely, if you let go of that spring, it would have went flying across the room. Definitely more spring in it than the old one, so it is good. It should work better with the gun. So I'm going to have to get this out and test fire it and make sure everything works smoothly. I will save the old recoil spring in case I have any problems. But I can tell you, this one is looking a little bent out of shape, and it looks like it's had a good long life. So we'll be trying out with a new recoil spring, so it should be safer, softer recoiling, and should save wear and tear on the gun when you have a good recoil spring. I have been mentioning the E2 grips and how I might install them on my Sig P229, but I did not explain the E2 grips. These are the E2 grips. As you can see, there's no grip screws on them. On the standard grips, there are. You can always convert a E2 grip to a standard grip with just changing the grips. However, to go from a 229 standard grip, you need to change out some internal parts to go to the E2 grip because it is smaller and gives you a smaller circumference to get your hand around. So this is actually one of the pistols I shoot the very best because the grip fits me so perfectly. Should you need to remove that grip, all you need to do is obviously take the magazine out, lock the slide back, then you take the tool here, you basically just put it in here, and then you twist, and that opens the grip up and you can slide it off. I'm not going to do it here and now, but it's that simple. So it's not a complicated process. And with this, it does give me a better grip. It allows me to grip it higher and better, because if we lay, or we put them side by side, I guess, to try to show, you can see the 229 grip is indeed has a bigger circumference than the E2 style grip. So like I said, I may switch this to an E2 style grip in the future. I don't know. Okay, so we're using this abomination of a 10-round magazine, but it's good for the range. This is my 40 Smith & Wesson Sig P229. Let's show how it works. So you insert the magazine and slap that home. It's not a toy you can take being hit. Then, I prefer to reach over top and drop the slide, which is the best way. Now, should you want to decock, you have a decocking lever right there. Decocks the gun. So show that again. You can reach up. Remember, decocking is not something you have to do under stress, so you can take your time and do it any way you want. So that's how you decock it. So let's go ahead and shoot down at these targets. I got one at 15 and one at 40, I think. So some closing words on the Sig P229. It's an excellent pistol for service, concealed carry, home defense, whatever you want to do with it. It is a quality pistol that will last you a lifetime. Disassembly is quite easy. You merely pop out the magazine. Always do that first. Make sure it's not loaded. Lock the slide back. Once again, make sure it's not loaded. Then you simply turn this lever down. Hold the slide, release the slide release, and it comes right out, at which point you can then take out this spring. Remember, it's not a captive spring, so it will go flying across the room if you do not hold it tightly. And you can take the barrel out, and now it is disassembled for cleaning after you've been at timeout at the range. To reassemble, once again, very simple. Just put the barrel back into the slide. Put the spring back in. As I noted, the spring is very tight because it's new. And just compress it down and get it on there. Make sure it doesn't go flying across the room. Then line up the slide rails. Push it all the way back. Lock it back. Turn your lever back. Drop the slide. Function check. Everything works. And as I pointed out in the range, if the hammer is back, you can use the decocking lever to decock. That's what we call an administrative function, something you should never have to do under stress. And magazine releases here, pops that magazine right out. So that is the Sig P229. So once again, this is Fortress Alaska, and I'm your host Dave. Please like and subscribe. Check out all my social media pages for my other things about Alaska, shooting, whatever else I might be doing. And also, have a good day and get out shooting.